the beginning of Albi, it was me, Shamuel, our co-founder, and then we had an offshore development team kind of building the proof of concept. Then we started hiring in-house employees. And we were in this 10 by 10 office at Rum Xterra basically. And then we started hiring employees. We hired, Ginny was one of our first like support people, success people. Started hiring more. We at first went remote. We opened up this little mini satellite office in Guadalajara, Mexico, which was kind of cool. And we had this whole vision of, hey, we're a tech company. We don't want to be all together. Let's have people all over the place, all over the globe. We hired some remote developers. And then we realized that, hey, remote doesn't quite work as well because we didn't have like that ability to pivot as much. It felt like people were on different wavelengths, right? Like the Guadalajara people had never been in a restoration company. They hadn't come and seen what a restoration company was. So it was a lot harder to communicate, well, why is this important? Why do restoration companies act this way and things like those? So we decided, look, we're gonna make a commitment to actually bring everybody under one roof here in the Chicagoland area, even though it went against the tech, culture, because we wanted, everybody to be together, to collaborate, to pivot, and then also to quickly go to our friends here in the restoration industry and be like, here's what a restoration company is, feel it, touch it, stuff like that. And we moved from that model to, we had our first office in Downers Grove. It was actually in the basement of a carpet place, Yonan Carpet actually, and we had this little basement office. It was cheap, cost effective, literally had no windows whatsoever. It's really crazy. And that's where we hired, for example, my brother, who was one of the first SDRs. You, Michelle, started there. Connor, our multimedia guy, started there. And then eventually we ran out of space there. We were like, where are we going to put more people? And we moved to a 4,000 square foot office in Downers Grove. And when we walked into that place, it was like September. It was like ginormous. We're like, what the heck are we ever going to do with all this space? Like, we're set, for a while. And then fast forward to this year, 2023, quarter one, we had filled up that space. We literally could not make any more hires because it was filled up. And then we moved into the space that we're currently at, which is a 20,000 square foot office that fits about 120 people. But that same growth, I don't know, I'm a firm believer, they say that a shark will always grow to the constraints of the tank that it's in. So if you put a little baby shark in a 5-gallon tank, it'll only grow up to the tank, right? If you put it in a giant tank, it'll grow to that size. And the same thing happened with Rum Xterra. So at Rum Xterra, when we started out of my dad's garage, literally. One truck, garage. And then we decided to rent an office space, even though it was crazy expensive, in a warehouse because our dehumidifiers kept freezing in my dad's garage. And we were like, okay, we need to do something. So we got 1,000 square foot office space. And eventually that turned into, we rented the places next door to a 5,000 square foot office space. And then we bought a 25,000 square foot building. When we bought that building, I think it was 2018-ish. Yeah, 2018, 2019. I remember walking in there and being like, what in the world are we gonna do with all this space? It was gigantic, right? And, fast forward to today, that building's busting out of the seams. There's not a single spot of room. There's not enough parking. There's just, so again, that's how you can kind of visualize the growth of organizations. And I think it's everybody was like, why did you rent a 20,000 square foot, 120 person office space, right? When you only have 50 people. And it's because my vision says that within the next 3 years, this place will be busting out of the seams. And most, commercial leases, it is a 3-year deal, right? And it's that thing, it's you're making a commitment to yourself of what the future is going to look like, right? When you rent that office space, because your vision says, hey, in 3 years, we're going to have X amount of employees. Okay, great. Now put your money where your mouth is and commit to that, right? And then that's how you know you're for real. Versus, oh, in 3 years, we're going to have 100 employees, but I'm only going to rent a 3-year lease for 70 employees. It's what are you telling yourself? Is that really going to happen, right? So it's almost like a commitment to yourself in what you're going to do and put your money where your mouth is, basically.